In a world that often feels defined by indifference, where news cycles blur and compassion fatigue numbs the soul, there are still voices that refuse to be silent. This week, two of those voices cut through the noise, echoing far beyond the stages and screens that made them famous. The Weeknd, an artist whose music has defined a generation, and Andrew Garfield, an actor who's made vulnerability his superpower, both chose to step off the red carpet and into the heart of one of the world's greatest humanitarian crises, Gaza. For The Weeknd, it wasn't just a tweet or a statement, it was action. As a UN World Food Program Goodwill Ambassador, he reached into the heart of his own success and gave $2.5 million, a sum that translates to 4 million emergency meals for people who have been systematically starved, displaced, and terrorized. The money came from his XO Humanitarian Fund, but the real power wasn't in the number of meals. It was in the message that even in an industry often defined by self-indulgence, there are those who understand that art is nothing if it doesn't also serve humanity. And then there was Andrew Garfield, a man who has played Spider-Man, priests, tortured soldiers, who has spent his career inhabiting the stories of the overlooked. This week, he turned his spotlight onto Gaza, publicly expressing support for Palestinians caught in the crosshairs of a conflict that has stolen not just lives, but futures. His words were simple, but in a landscape where celebrity silence is so often bought or bullied, they carried weight. They said, "We see you. We see your suffering. We see your right to exist, to live, to breathe." In a world where so many celebrities play it safe, afraid to alienate sponsors or risk their brand, these gestures of money, of words, of defiance are radical. They break the spell of silence that so often cloaks Gaza in a fog of half-truths and both sides' equivocations. They force the world to look at what's happening, not as an abstract conflict, but as a human catastrophe. Because Gaza is not a chessboard, it's a home. It's a cradle of families, of children with laughter still in their lungs, until the bombs take that away. The Weeknd's $2.5 million is more than charity. It's a statement of values. It's an artist saying, "My success means nothing if I cannot use it to shield those who have no protection." His money will not rebuild the homes lost. It will not resurrect the dead, but it will fill empty bellies. It will give parents one less nightmare to endure. It will buy time. And in Gaza, every extra minute of life is a rebellion against the machinery of death. And Andrew Garfield's voice? It matters in a different way. Because words are weapons too. Weapons that can pierce the armor of propaganda and challenge the narratives that justify the starvation of a people. When he says he stands with Gaza, he is not just speaking for himself. He is amplifying the voices of those who have been systematically silenced, who are not invited to the tables of power, who have no lobbyists, no army of spin doctors. In a world where the default is to look away, to erase, to forget, his choice to stand up is an act of radical empathy. These acts are not without risk. To speak for Gaza in the West is to invite backlash. To give money to Palestinians is to invite scrutiny. The smears come quickly. Terrorist sympathizer, anti-Semitic, naive. But the truth is simpler. It's human. To see children starve and not feel rage is to be complicit. To see homes reduced to dust and not want to help is to have forgotten what it means to be alive. And let's be clear, this isn't about one conflict in one corner of the world. It's about the moral question that defines our time. Who is allowed to live? Whose children are mourned on the front pages, and whose are statistics in the back? Whose pain is given airtime, and whose is buried under euphemisms about security and necessary operations? When The Weeknd and Andrew Garfield speak out, they are not just speaking for Gaza. They are speaking against a world order that treats some lives as disposable. The Weeknd didn't have to do this. He could have released another album, sold out another stadium, and let the bombs keep falling in silence. Andrew Garfield didn't have to say anything. He could have hidden behind polite neutrality and let his work speak for him. But they didn't. Because sometimes silence is a betrayal. And sometimes the simple act of speaking, of refusing to let the world forget, is an act of revolution. Their gestures are a reminder to all of us that we are not powerless, that what we say, what we fund, what we share, it matters. In a world that tries to convince us that individual action is futile, these two artists are showing that it's not. That even a single voice or a single donation can disrupt the machinery of forgetting. And let us remember, this isn't charity in the abstract. This is survival. Every dollar the Weeknd gives, every word Andrew Garfield speaks, translates into real human lives. 4 million emergency meals, a moment of dignity for a child who has known nothing but fear. And in Gaza, where hope is as rare as clean water, these acts are not small. They are lifeline. In the end, their message is simple, but it demands something of all of us. It says, look, do not turn away. Do not let the next headline push Gaza's children out of your mind. Do not let the machinery of war and profit drown out the voices of the living and the dead. Let their actions be the beginning of a new chorus, one that says we will not be silent. We will not let them starve in the dark. Because what is art, if not the refusal to look away? What is celebrity, if not the chance to lend your voice to those who have none? The Weeknd and Andrew Garfield have given their answers. Now, it's up to the rest of us.